times, so we need a second stimulus package. How'd the first one work out?
We didn't have a first stimulus package. The first package was a redistribution of wealth.
Well, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah, put it this way. Everybody in this room contributes to taxes, right? We all put money into the bucket or the pot. But what comes out of it? Well, money goes to keep teachers and union jobs out there. You know, there's a story out this week, Wichita, Kansas. They're supposed to get $26 million. They got $380,000. You know what they spent almost all that money on? To neuter and spay pets for low-income people. That's a classic redistribution of money.
Well, that's a stupid redistribution.
It's a stupid redistribution. It might get you reelected, but it doesn't save the country.
Well, but we were all led to believe that this, whatever it was, $1 trillion or whatever was going to solve everything, but didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything because, you know what, it wasn't even designed that way. If you look at the way this plan is designed, most of the money doesn't even hit until next year, which coincides exactly with the midterm elections. If you look at other stimulus packages that may have worked, China, over half the money's already gone to work. The things that they're doing over there are phenomenal. Then you have the other countries who say, listen, we don't want to go that route. We don't want to add to deficit. We don't want to add to debt. And their economies have turned around before ours have. And believe it or not, it's countries like France and Germany. Can you imagine France giving us a lesson in capitalism?
Well, no.
Yeah, the world is changing.
Do you think, talking with Charles Payne from the Fox Business Network, it's coming up on 17 minutes till the hour, do you think it's a good idea, the President's proposed the administration, to regulate the pay of these executives for companies that accepted this bailout money?
The bailout money situation is a little different because you consider us major investors in these companies, so we should have a say on pay. But this is just a slippery slope. This is just a small opening. Ultimately, I think the president's goal is to control pay across the board. Right now, look at the areas they're trying to dominate: financial, health, and energy. That's the bulk of our economy. So I'm really afraid of where this is going to lead. Already they're talking about the Federal Reserve being able to control pay at thousands of financial institutions. Thousands. You know what? If they want to stop risky behavior, let these companies go out of business. That's the best impediment. You know what? You mean if I roll the dice, I might lose? But if you tell me I can just keep rolling the dice and not go out of business, then, hey, listen, let's have a party. So I think the president means well in his own world, but I think it's sort of an elitist world where the smart guys who write for the New York Times and live in Manhattan sort of dictate to the rest of us how much we should make, what we should eat, and where we should live. And I think the American people are beginning to reject that.
How do you think he's doing just overall, President?
I don't think he's living up to the expectations. In fact, we had a consumer confidence number out this week, and what was interesting about it, not only was the number down, there's a component of it that measures what we think is going to happen 6 months from now. That is dropping rapidly. Now, one of the things about Americans, we always believe things are going to get better. That, in fact, to me, is one of the keys to our success, is that we believe we're going to be successful. Yeah. And I think that correlates directly with belief in the president. I think it's starting to wane. Again, amongst independents, Republicans who sort of said, okay, I want to give this guy a try after all, the last guy didn't do so well, that type of stuff. That's beginning to wane.
Well, when you say living up to expectations, all the liberals thought that. Well, Sean Hannity, my friend, by the way.
The biggest liberal of them all.
He had me convinced that he was going to have Bill Ayers and Reverend Wright and Angela Davis all in the cabinet. Well, when the president got elected, he just picked all the people from the Clinton administration and even went back to get some of those dopes from the Carter administration, which irritated a number of liberals, and it does appear to be business as usual. So when you say not living up to expectations, what do you mean?
Well, a lot of people thought that it would be manna from heaven. Listen, one of the things that the president campaigned on was like, I'm the president from Main Street. We're going to have trickle-up economics, not trickle-down. So you come in and you give Goldman Sachs billions of dollars, you bail out a failed automobile company. I mean, so far it's all been trickled down. One of the biggest plans they have, this PPP plan, where they're going to buy bad assets, and they're going to take $100 billion of our money and go into business with the top money managers in this country, guys who are already billionaires. These guys get 86% of the profits. We take 50% of the risk. It's just ridiculous. It is more of the same. It really is. If I was a poor person who voted for Obama, I'd be so upset right now. I would say to myself, what the heck? I don't see anything. I don't see anything for the small person, for the small business out there. The people that put him in office have been totally ignored.
Well, see, here's the problem. None of them ever keep their word, but everybody thought he would.
Right.
But he's not any different than the rest of them.
Well, that's becoming a sad reality.
No worse. Well, it may be a little better, actually. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
I appreciate coming on the show. Hope you have it back.
Yes, we will.
I used to work in this studio, so I'm a little homesick.
You know so much more about it than we do. And I find in the last bit of information you were talking about, my mind was starting to frankly wander. So,
you know what? Mine too, because I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I have the attention span of an infant. So, anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Don.
Charles Payne.